Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Muhammad bin Awad bin Laden is born in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the 17th of more than 50 children of billionaire construction tycoon Mohammed bin Laden. Despite tremendous wealth, his world is strict, religious, and structured. He attends elite private schools, but he is quiet, disciplined, and unusually serious for a child. Teachers describe him as shy, deeply devout, and respectful, but always distant, almost observing life rather than participating. He grows up watching the Saudi royal family and scholars of Islam closely, developing a worldview shaped by religion, power, and identity. In his late teens, Osama attends Sultan King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, where he studies economics and management. But the real influence comes not from academics. It comes from radical professors and traveling preachers. He listens to militant scholars like Abdullah Azam, who argue that Muslims have a duty to fight oppression anywhere in the world. This becomes a turning point. Osama transforms from a wealthy, quiet Saudi youth into a young man convinced he is destined to serve a higher calling through violent jihad. When the Soviet Union invades Afghanistan in 1979, Osama views this as the defining battle for the Muslim world. He travels to Pakistan and Afghanistan repeatedly, not just to fight, but to fund all the resistance. He builds training camps, finances weapons, hires engineers, and gains admiration from young militants who see him as a pious, wealthy hero willing to risk everything. Though not a major battlefield commander, his influence grows. He learns how to build networks, raise money, and inspire fighters, skills that will eventually make him far more dangerous than any soldier. By the late 1980s, Osama believes the Afghan victory over the Soviets proves that tightly organized Islamic fighters can defeat even a global superpower. He forms al-Qaeda, meaning the base. At first, it's a registry of mujahideen fighters. Then it evolves into an international network with structured leadership, training camps, recruitment pipelines, and global communication channels. Osama is becoming not just a fighter, but an international organizer of extremist ideology. After clashing with the Saudi government, Osama relocates to Sudan. Here, his organization grows dramatically. He buys farms, factories, and businesses to fund operations. He trains militants from North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. He builds networks in Yemen, Somalia, and Kenya. He establishes global cells that can operate independently. During this period, al-Qaeda becomes a sophisticated multinational terrorist organization. U.S. intelligence begins tracking him, but he's always one step ahead. Al-Qaeda bombs 2 U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing hundreds. This is the moment bin Laden becomes world famous, and officially the top target of U.S. counter-terrorism forces. The U.S. fires missiles at Afghanistan to kill him. He survives. He releases videos taunting Western governments and predicting future attacks. Recruitment explodes worldwide. Under protection of the kind Taliban, Osama lives in rugged Afghan camps. His life becomes fully military. Caves turned into communication hubs, secured compounds, foreign recruits trained in explosives and hijacking, secret meetings with top commanders. Here he finalizes plans for a massive coordinated attack on the U.S., one that will change the world. Osama personally approves and oversees the plan. September 11, 2001 began like any other Tuesday in the United States. Millions of Americans commuted to work, boarded flights, and prepared for another ordinary day. Within hours, the world would witness one of the most devastating and defining events in modern history. At 7:59 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 departed Boston. It was the first of 4 planes hijacked in a coordinated attack. By 8:42 a.m., all 4 targeted aircraft were in the air, and the hijackers were already beginning to act. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Initial reports spoke of an accident, a catastrophic mechanical failure, a tragic mistake. At 9:03 a.m., United Flight 175 hit the South Tower. Within seconds, the world understood. This was not an accident. This was an attack. Only minutes later at 9:37 a.m., another hijacked plane, Flight 77, struck the Pentagon, the center of America's defense operations. Aboard Flight 93, passengers learned of the earlier attacks. They realized their plane was headed for another target. In an extraordinary act of courage, they attempted to retake control. Their actions prevented an attack on Washington, D.C. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower followed. Thousands of firefighters, police officers, and everyday citizens ran toward danger. Their bravery saved countless lives. Within hours, every aircraft in American airspace was grounded. Borders tightened. The U.S. prepared for an uncertain future. The attacks reshaped world politics. International alliances shifted. New security systems were introduced, and the war on terror began. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost. Their names are etched into memorials, but also into history. 2 decades later, the world continues to feel the impact of that morning, but it also remembers the unity, courage, and humanity that emerged from tragedy. 9/11 changed the world forever, but the stories of resilience, courage, and sacrifice remain a reminder of what people can endure and overcome. After the attack, he celebrates privately, believing he has struck a blow that will fracture the West. Instead, the U.S. invades Afghanistan with overwhelming force. Osama flees into the mountains. For a decade, he becomes a ghost. He moves between caves, tribal villages, and safe houses in Pakistan. Few people ever see him. He avoids electronic communications to prevent detection. Messages are delivered by trusted couriers who travel for days on foot. Inside his compound, he lives quietly, writing, reading, planning, recording statements, raising his children. While al-Qaeda weakens, his symbolic power remains massive. U.S. Intelligence tracks one of his couriers to a suspicious compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. After months of surveillance, President Obama authorizes a covert Navy SEAL Team 6 operation. In a nighttime raid, 2 stealth helicopters land inside the compound. SEALs breach multiple floors. A brief firefight occurs. Bin Laden is found in an upstairs bedroom. He is killed after resisting, and the SEALs recover hard drives, notebooks, and thousands of documents. The world's most wanted terrorist is gone,